Assalamu alaikum, my dear beloved students. I hope you are all well. Previous day, I discussed about preparatory studies or lectures that is useful you for second professional examination, upcoming second professional examination. Today, some of your students may appear in the supplementary term examination. I hope that you do well in your supplementary exam. Regularly basis it will occurs and it will take by our TC sir and our lecturer sir and madam. তোমরা ভালো করে প্রিপারেশন নাও, সাপ্লিমেন্টারি পরীক্ষা যেন ভালোভাবে দিতে পারো এবং ভালো করে পড়তে হবে। You should study regularly. Upcoming exam will very soon. Now I continue my topic discussion. My next chapter is death and its cause. Define death. It is an important question, most important. Death, types of death. What do you mean by somatic and molecular death? What are the difference between somatic and molecular death? Somatic and molecular death খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট, এটা মনে রাখতে হবে। কখন মলিকুলার ডেথ হয়? যখন আমাদের অক্সিজেন লেভেল যেটা স্টোর থাকে ব্লাডের মধ্যে, সেগুলি যখন রিজার্ভ হয়ে মানে ব্যবহার হয়ে যায়, তখন আমাদের মলিকুলার ডেথ শুরু হয়। তাছাড়া তোমাদের পড়ানো হয়েছে, তোমাদের স্যার তোমাদের বলছে। Next হচ্ছে what is sudden death, very very important for written and oral examination. What are causes of sudden death? Sudden death important cause হচ্ছে cardiovascular death. You know যে করোনা ভাইরাসে যাদের কার্ডিওভাস্কুলার ডিজিজ আছে তারাই কিন্তু প্রথম ফার্স্ট ভিকটিম। সো কজ অফ সাডেন ডেথ, cardiovascular cause is the most common cause of sudden death. You must remember it. Cause of sudden death: suspended animation or the important question, suspended animation or dead trance is very important. Medical importance of suspended animation. Next one is changes after death, immediate, early, late change. Changes after death অনেকে মিস্টেক করে ফেলছো, do some mistakes about changes after death. মনে রাখতে হবে changes are immediate, early এবং late change. What are changes after death? Very very important question. How can you declare death of a person? Very very important question. তোমরা রিটেনের মধ্যে ভাইভাতে একরকম বলতে হবে, রিটেনে একরকম। In written there are so many topics, but in oral examination, CBS examination, respiratory examination and nervous system examination, principal 3 examinations, we can declare death. একটা important question আছে, what is vegetative state or the persistent vegetative state is for good students who try to get honors mark or good marks. Changes after death এর মধ্যে তোমাদের ইম্পর্টেন্ট আছে hypostasis. What do you mean by postmortem hypostasis? Hypostasis এবং bruisের মধ্যে ডিফারেন্স একটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট কোশ্চেন। One of the important question is difference between postmortem hypostasis and bruise. Rigor mortis খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট। rigor mortis, all topics are important. Different rigor mortis or the order of appearance of rigor mortis or medical importance of rigor mortis, mechanism of rigor mortis. Postmortem hypostasis, rigor mortis, maceration you run it from 2 chapters. One is infanticide, another is postmortem changes. Saponification means wax formation. You must remember wax formation. And mummification, important mummification, short note, mummification, saponification. Postmortem carosity, written examination important question, postmortem carosity. What are muscular changes after death? One very important, what are the muscular changes after death? What are different stiffness after death? Important question for oral examination. Next, I discuss you violent asphyxia. You know your beloved teacher most favorite topics is violent asphyxia. What is asphyxia or passlessness? Define asphyxia. Types of asphyxia. Causes of violent asphyxia. Very, very important question. Cardinal sign of violent asphyxia. Petechial hemorrhage or tardive spot. Very, very important in written. Tardive spot. Congestion. Cyanosis. Very, very important. Next is what is hanging? Suicidal. Always remember hanging is always suicidal unless otherwise put. Hanging. Define hanging. Types of hanging. Cause of death in hanging. Postmortem findings of hanging. Medical legal importance of hanging. Postmortem findings. Whenever you ask postmortem findings of hanging, you must mention, at first you mention the ligature mark, description of ligature mark. This is the most important cause. What are ligature materials used in hanging? This is one of important cause, important question. This is the important question for hanging. Now you go for strangulation. Define strangulation, types of strangulation. Types of strangulation you can divide by manual strangulation and ligature strangulation. Manual strangulation means throttling. Always remember, ligature strangulation is the common cause of homicidal. Next, what are postmortem findings of strangulation? Whenever you ask or written in postmortem findings of ligature strangulation, you must mention the ligature mark in case of hanging and in case of strangulation. What are difference between hanging and strangulation? If you read the difference between hanging and strangulation, you can answer the postmortem findings of hanging and postmortem findings of strangulation. Important question for strangulation, traumatic asphyxia, both hanging and strangulation and suffocation. Traumatic asphyxia, accidental, one kind of suffocation, plus prevention of chest movement. Drowning. Define drowning, types of drowning, cause of death in drowning. Secondary drowning, immersion syndrome is the most important question for written examination. Postmortem findings of strangulation or postmortem findings of drowning. Postmortem findings of drowning, you must, whenever you written or oral, you must mention first is froth. Froth is important. Starting point is froth. Hanging and strangulation important. Starting point is ligature mark. What are the diatom? What do you mean by diatom? Important question. Medical legal importance of drowning. These are the important question. Now you go for suffocation. What do you mean suffocation? Choking, cafe coronary. Very, very important. Barking, another term of strangulation. Barking. Sometimes you may face in prof examination, written or oral examination. Now I am go for wounds. Define wounds. What are the causes of death in wounds? Sorry, favorite question. What is assault, injury, battery, heart? Very, very important for both in oral and written examination. You must learn it. Grievous, spelling and points. There are 8 points of grievous with spelling of grievous. Very, very important. You this second term examination, most of the students common mistakes in reverse are both spelling and points. Permanent privation, you must remember permanent privation of sight of either eye. Either means one of eye, মনে রাখতে হবে। তারপর আমরা এখন চলে যাচ্ছি হোমিসাইড, স্যারের ফেভারিট কোশ্চেন, টিচার মোস্ট ফেভারিট homicide, types of homicide, and what are the difference between homicide and murder? All murders are homicide, but all homicides are not murder. What is suicide? Punishment for suicide. Important question. Define suicide, punishment for suicide. Homicide, always remember, killing of a human being by another human. Killing of a person by another person is not true. Killing of a human being by another human being. This is the answer. Now you go for general aspects of the sharp force injury, blunt force injury. Blunt force injury means abrasion, bruise, laceration. All are important. Define abrasion, age of abrasion, classify abrasion, medical legal importance of abrasion. Medical legal importance of abrasion or different sides of the body or different parts of the body or different places of the body. Laceration, define laceration, types of laceration. Define bruise, types of bruise, superficial deep bruise. Important question for good marks: perchlorate bruise or migratory bruise, tramline bruise. Important for good marks in prof examination. Age of bruise, age of abrasion and age of bruise is most important question for written and oral. Now I go for sharp force injury. Inside wound, stab wound, and chop wound. Inside wound, very very important. Criteria of inside wound, define inside criteria of inside wound. Criteria of inside looking is another important question. Inside wound and inside lacerated wound. Inside wound and inside looking wound, very very important question. Criteria of inside wound, inside looking. Inside looking wound means lacerated injury. What type of lacerated injury? Split type of lacerated injury. You must remember it. Now, medical legal importance of inside wound. Medical legal importance of inside looking wound. Inside wound, very very important. Shape of inside wound. What are parts of inside wound? Parts: head and tail. Important question. Two is one is sharp and one is blunt উইপন দিয়ে কী ধরনের স্ট্যাব উন্ড হবে এবং বোট ইজ শার্প কী ধরনের হবে, খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট। স্ট্যাব উন্ডের টাইপ, পেনিট্রেটিং, পারফোরেটিং, খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট। চপন, হট ডু মিন চপন? ফেয়ারলি হেভি শার্প কাটিং উইপন দিয়ে হবে, মনে রাখতে হবে। ফেয়ারলি হেভি শার্প কাটিং উইপন। medical legal importance of chop wound. The cause of death in wound. Actual cause of death. What are the causes of death? Different question. What are the causes of death in wound? এটা commonly written থাকে। আবার অনেক সময় একটা কোশ্চেন, what's the cause of death? সার্টেন একটা কোশ্চেন, what are the causes of death? ডেথের মধ্যে একটা কোশ্চেন, তখন কিন্তু তোমাকে সব বলতে হবে। এটা ব্রড কোশ্চেন হয়ে যায়, এখানে মিস্টেক যেন না হয়। আচ্ছা, আজকে এই পর্যন্ত। Today's my topics is first term examination. Next I will discuss you second term. Second term means toxicology board. Important questions for toxicology board. Now be well, study good, and keep your health conscious as well. Thank you very much.